Welcome to another episode of Spirit Rising. Today we're talking about help. I'm being bullied and I don't know what to do. A very important topic. Being bullied is not always avoidable, but today Sharyn shares her bullying story and 5 tips on how to avoid or deter a bully. Enjoy the listen.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Spirit Rising with Psychic Sharyn Rose. I love it when you come and join me on the podcast because I sometimes, I take myself very seriously, right? No, I'm kidding. I don't. But some of the stuff that I do share, it really does help people, and I get lots of feedback. So I hope that this helps you. Today, I want to talk a little bit about bullying. And I don't think I've ever met anybody that's never actually been bullied. I mean, to some degree, they've been bullied by somebody. And oftentimes, when people, there's an expression out there that says hurt people hurt people. So that means if you're a hurt person, you will hurt others because you're hurting. And that makes sense. But I think bullies, it depends where the bullying originates from. As a child, it was something I experienced from the time I can remember, ever since I can remember. And by a significant person in my life. And she was a terrible bully. And it was hard. I didn't call it bullying. I just thought it was mean. But anyway, but one of the things that I do recall is in high school, for some reason, there was a girl in high school. She came from a wealthy home. She was well-groomed. She had all the best clothes. She had the best hairstyles. She drove the nicest car. I mean, she was in high school. And she disliked me so much, and I had never really had anything to do with her. We never interacted. We were in the same grade. That's it. And in my high school, there was, upward of 100 kids. So it wasn't like we bumped into each other all the time. But every time she came down the hallway and if I didn't see her, I was like, she would attack me, and verbally. Never physically, but verbally. And then she would follow me and she would yell things at me like, your hair is so greasy and stringy and you're just so ugly. And why are you so stupid? And stuff like that. And I don't know why. I never, ever did know why. And to be very honest with you, I don't even know how I got away from that aspect of bullying with her. I think I just ignored her. I think that's probably one of the best ways to do it when you're at that age. And it's somebody that's really neutral in your world. It's not like a boss or a coworker or a parent or a sibling or a cousin or somebody that's really close to you that you're going to be around for a long period of time. This was a girl that was irrelevant to me. She didn't matter to me at all. But clearly I was important to her for some reason. Anyways, so I thought today I would talk about bullying and how to avoid being bullied, or how to change things if you are being bullied, how to turn it around. And I've got 5 simple steps that you can take, that you can try. Each one, all of them, none of them if you don't have a problem. But if you have a problem, you might want to take a look at some of these or take a listen. So the first one that I have here, this first strategy is build your self-confidence. And I will be honest to say, and I'm using myself as an example here because I'm old enough now that high school days no longer affect me. But I do remember what kind of a person I was in high school. I was shy, at least up till the last 2 years. And then I really came out of my shell and got involved with student council and got involved with different clubs and really became very active. And that really helped my self-esteem. But before that, I was shy. I was a shy person. I was quiet. And I was miserable at home. I was so unhappy at home that when I came to school, it was kind of where I could thrive and I could survive. I knew I couldn't thrive at home. And of course, this girl popping up and doing what she was doing made it terrible because that was supposed to be my safe place. So building self-confidence, which is something that I did over the years, you can develop a strong sense of self-worth and confidence, and it can really make you less of a target for bullies. However, you can't guarantee yourself anything just by being self-confident. You don't know why a bully is picking on you. I still don't know why this girl picked on me. I still, to this day, don't have a clue. So what you want to do then is you want to focus on your strengths and your positive qualities and engage in activities that help you feel good, like boost your self-esteem. Maybe a hobby or a skill. Like I joined the choir. I like to sing. I was active in the cooking groups. I got involved, like I said, on student council. There was a lot of things that I was a cheerleader. There was a lot of things I was able to do. Maybe that's why she really wasn't my fan. I wasn't bad at any of it. Never thought of that until just now. But clearly I was a threat to her in some way. Anyways, or get involved in sports and clubs. And of course, that's what I did when I was in high school. And that's how I helped myself build my self-esteem, was getting involved. Surround yourself with people who are like you, not like the bullies. So supportive people, and create friendships with people who treat you with respect. So don't be trying to make friendships with people who don't treat you well. Your social network can deter bullies from targeting you, because your social network will stand up for you in most cases, and will provide emotional support when it's needed. When I started high school, I was a real loner because I didn't have any real friends. And there was some kids that came from the little town school, country school that I went to the high school, which was a big school. But I mean, we all ended up scattering into different classrooms in different directions. And so I was alone that first year, pretty much on my own. And that's where she really found me. That's where she was in my homeroom. And that's where she got really very negative and mean. So I didn't have a social network, but if you can create a social network, it'll help you avoid being bullied, and you'll have that emotional support there. Friends can act as a witness or allies too in case of bullying incidents, and sometimes bullies get out of control and they hurt you, and you can have witnesses to the events that take place. The next is be really aware of your body language. I really don't think a lot of people in their younger years will think of something like this, but they will often target individuals who appear vulnerable or lack confidence. So that means walking with your eyes downcast, maybe a little bit slumped over, maybe walking past people quickly, not making any eye contact. That's a big one right there. But walking with your head up, walking with your shoulders back, and walking with confidence will really make a difference. So maintaining a confident posture and speaking assertively can really project self-assurance and make you less likely to be seen as an easy target. So the tip to number 3 is stand tall, walk with purpose, and avoid displaying signs of fear or insecurity. And, that gets really hard when this person's coming down the hallway and they're going to start running you down as soon as they catch eyesight of you. And there's nothing you can do, right? It's really kind of devastating. So try these techniques and see what happens for you. Number 4 is set boundaries and assert yourself. So that can be really hard when you're shy or you come from an environment where you're already being bullied. Now, I said earlier, hurt people hurt people. There are people out there who are hurt, but they don't take up the mantle of causing more pain. What they do is they become more introverted or ambiverted. And when you become more introverted, you're going to do everything you can to avoid pain for others and yourself. But setting boundaries and asserting yourself, if you can do it, and just little steps here and little steps there. Bullies thrive on power imbalances. That's what gets them going. And that's where, like an abusive parent who is a bully, and narcissistic parents are bullies. Anybody that's a narcissist is a bully. They're bullies. That's just another word. But they thrive on power imbalances and the perception of control that they have. So make it clear you won't tolerate mistreatment. Now, it's hard to do that with a parent or a boss, or unless you quit your job. But at school or in somebody that's a peer, yeah, it works. And be calm but assertive in establishing your boundaries, and use confident and clear communication. So be clear with your words when you express your discomfort, and you stand up for yourself when faced with bullying behavior. I remember one point where this girl approached me in the hallway and started being really negative and nasty. And I had just gotten my period, and I was 15? And I was feeling really crappy because I had really bad cramps and I was just miserable. And I had just come out of the bathroom. And when she started doing this, I turned around and I went back into the bathroom because I didn't know what else to do. And she followed me. And I went into the stall, and she just literally stood outside the stall and just berated me the whole time I was in there. And all I wanted to do was cry, because even though I've got my period, etc., I was really emotional because that's a hormonal kind of time, right? And I can just remember I didn't feel like talking back or asserting myself or any of that. Sometimes you can't. But when you can, do it. Okay. When you can express your discomfort and stand up for yourself, do it when you're faced with bullying behavior. And the 5th tip that I have is go to the adults. If you have to, go to the adults. I never went to an adult around her, but I did go to the adults in my school for advice on how to deal with people who didn't like me and people who did bully me, but I didn't use any names because that wasn't my shtick. And my mother and father never, ever were inside my school, ever. So they weren't a part of my system in the high school system. but my principal was, and he was the best guy in the world for me. So I reached out to him and I would sit and talk with him and have a coffee with him. And he helped me. He gave me some advice. And I think it was actually probably a lot to do with him as to how I got through the difficulty of being bullied and allowing myself to move above it and beyond it. I let him know, but I didn't tell him who, and just got some support. But adults will give advice because they're seeing the world from a different place than you are at 15, mediating conflicts and taking appropriate actions to address the situation. So for adults that are facing bullying in the workplace, we are up against it in our culture. This culture has become number one, a cancel culture. The bullying aspect is part of the cancel culture. We're highly judgmental in our culture now and highly critical of one another. And that's got a lot to do with the inability to accept each other at face value and tell each other how we value each other and we care. And we're not a loving society like we used to be. There is a family that I watch. They do food reviews and they love to eat together. And I think they're a Mexican family and they're from the States in Arizona. And I watch them. I watch their videos, and there's two cousins, and the one cousin's mother is the sister of the other cousin's grandmother. So you can see where the ages are there. Anyways, but they get together and have meals and they laugh and they talk and they share, and the respect is it's astounding. And that is something right there. If you've got a family that really has your back, get together with them, bring them together, force them to come together so that they remember what family's all about, and allow yourself to actually have that support system right behind you, especially in your family. When it comes to work, a lot of times it's got to be documented or it's got to be recorded, which is also happening now too. And as you know, there's a lot of people being set up. There's a lot of people being framed. I remember watching this man walking his dog in the park. It was a video, walking his dog in the park. And he was a black man, and he's walking his dog, and he had a dog. I think the dog was like it was just a little dog. It wasn't a big, vicious Rottweiler or anything like that. In fact, it was, what was it? I can't remember what kind, but it wasn't a very, and this woman came up and for some reason started harassing him. And for no reason, actually. She didn't have a reason. But then all of a sudden he said, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'm just walking my dog. And she says, well, I'm walking my dog and your dog attacked my dog. Of course, we all saw that, didn't, because he was recording. Thank goodness he was. And he said, just leave me alone, go away. And he would walk and she would follow him. And he'd say, leave me alone. Then she threw herself onto the ground and went, ow, ow, ow. And she said, I'm phoning the police because you hit me. You pushed me. And she called the police and said, this black man and his dog assaulted me after his dog assaulted my dog. And the police came. And it was really ridiculous because she was making it all up. It was all a story. Now, that's a bully, but how insecure do you have to be to go to that length to try and frame somebody else just because, obviously she didn't like the color of his skin. But the fact is, the man was just a decent human being walking his dog in the park, probably having an amazing day before she came along. And that's unnecessary. And there's more and more of that going on now. And I think the reason we know that there's more going on, or maybe we see that there's more going on, is because people are videotaping. And back in the day, we didn't have video cameras, right? It brings to mind, too, where you see people on airplanes bullying one another and bullying the attendants, and even attendants that will tend to bully some of the passengers. But I mean, it's just become such a thing. And facing bullying is not fun. It's not a fun thing to have to do. So remember, if you find yourself facing bullying, it's essential to prioritize your safety, make sure you're okay. And if you are up against a bully who is physically abusive and is going to hurt you, get to safety and protect your well-being. That's essential. You must make sure you take care of yourself. Don't be afraid to seek help and support from appropriate authorities and to address the issue right away. Don't wait. There's you see children that are being bullied in movies or whatnot. And I love some of the solutions that they come up with where, dad steps in and they end up all going to play ball together or something. But one of the things to understand, and it's okay, understanding is that bullies are hurting people. They're not generally people that are balanced really well. But that's not your problem if you're being harmed by them. That isn't your story. You don't want to own that story. You can't say, oh, well, they had a bad life. I did that for years, saying, oh, well, she had a bad life. It's not her fault. Yes, it is. We have on this planet as humans the power of choice. We can make the choice whether we want to bully somebody and beat on somebody or pick on somebody or treat people with disrespect or not. It's always a power of choice. I don't care how damaged you are or how misrepresented you've been in your lifetime. I believe that bullying is a choice. And I won't change that. I don't care. People, I know narcissism is considered a mental disorder, and certain degrees of narcissism are. Absolutely, I agree with that. But growing up with no boundaries and being terribly spoiled and then demanding the world kiss your, what, that's just out of control and no boundaries. That's, you set your boundaries, they can't bully you. I have a young person in my life right now who I watch, and he is a bully. And he bullies literally everybody around him. And he does it in a very passive aggressive way. And he's learning those behaviors. And I am one of the few people in his world. He can't. He's tried and he can't. I'm right back on him. And we have a great relationship. But I watch his relationship with others. And if they don't straighten out, they're going to have a problem. So if you are being bullied currently at work, that's another issue. Again, if you've got union, you know what to do with that. But again, some of those are blown out of proportion. I guess you can just do the best that you can do, and that's all you can do. I want to encourage you all to go over to the Sharyn Rose website, SharynRose.com, and take a look at our services that we have available over there. I'm really busy right now with the coaching program. You do have to have a 1-hour consultation with me before we agree to coaching together. And that's a 10-hour program. And all the details are on the website. You go take a look. There are some workshops for sale on there. They're just short ones, and you can purchase those. There are other services, lots of services. There's home clearing. There's all kinds of different things that we can do together. So go and check it out. And if you're on Facebook, please go over to my Facebook page, Sharyn Rose, Psychic Coach and Medium. And on Wednesdays, I put cards up face down and 3 cards, and you pick which card you like and post it. And then the next day, Thursday, every week, I turn those cards up and give you the definitions of what those cards mean. And they're usually the animal tarot cards. I love them. They're fantastic. Cards that were designed by Radley Valentine. He's just a wonderful man. And I love them. They're fantastic. So don't be afraid to go over there and check that out. And if you have any topics or ideas you'd like to hear me talk on or bring to the table, let me know. Let me know, and I'll see what I can do to meet your needs. Okay? In the meantime, stay healthy, stay happy, enjoy the summer that's coming, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Spirit Rising with Psychic Sharyn Rose, formerly the Medium Well podcast. Still the same great podcast with the same great advice from Sharyn Rose. Make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast player, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcasts, and never miss an episode. All you have to do is follow on your favorite player, and you'll be able to catch a new episode of Spirit Rising with Psychic Sharyn Rose every Wednesday, released at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll talk to you next time.